I'm Mandy Arola, a marketing director and content marketing freelancer, experimenting with AI from automations to AI agents. I'm testing how these tools cut out the busy work so that marketers can spend more time on creative strategy. In this series, I'll show you what actually works. All right, today I'm excited to show you what I have been working on for the Nashville Software School homepage. This website is a little different than what most marketers experience in managing a website, where normally you have a content management system, whether that is WordPress, HubSpot, Squarespace, Webflow, all these other tools that you can use to manage your website. This is built by graduates from Nashville Software School, and it is built using the tools that they learned. So it is managed and version controlled through GitHub. And when you go in to change it, you're actually using VS Code. And instead of having a form to fill out for each section, you are into the HTML and adjusting CSS properties if you need to change any styling. So I have had to learn and become very much an expert in HTML and CSS while working for Nashville Software School, and have always had to lean into our instructors who are teach our software development boot camp to make big changes to the website. I've learned how to carry over a feature from one page to another, but to actually make big changes, I've really had to lean into those teams, which of course they don't always have time. And so website projects have taken a back seat. But now AI has gotten so much better at coding that I used it to help change some of the features on the homepage. And so I just wanted to show you what AI can help marketers do or help developers do as well. So this is our current homepage for NSS. And we've made some minor updates over the years, and we've added some different features from when I first started, but it has not had a whole lot of evolution. And it's a fairly static website. And so we wanted to bring in some modern features into the homepage and also maybe shorten it up and place some new emphasis and update copy and things like that. One of the things we wanted to take a look at is how can we make it feel more modern? And one of those areas where we thought we could give it a better look and flow is looking at our employer section of who hires our graduates. We wanted to make this more dynamic. And what I did was I had a conversation. I used Gemini. There are tools that you can use that are integrated with VS Code. I chose to use a tool that I was familiar with so that I wasn't having to get up to speed on a new tool, a new AI tool, while trying to do some of these things that I frankly wasn't sure how well it was going to work. It'd been a while since I had experimented with changing website code with AI, and last time I did it, it didn't go so well. This time it went a whole lot better. So what I did is I took our HTML, which I have here listed as revised homepage, and I copied in the CSS for those two files. So I gave it the homepage and I asked it, say, we want to change this who hires our grads section. That is what it's labeled in the HTML, so it was easy to find it. It's currently a grid of 3 rows. I want it to be a carousel with 2 rows of 10. And the carousel should loop so that it keeps going. So I gave it its homepage, the HTML copy. I gave it the CSS copy, and we're going to scroll way down. It may have been cleaner to give the CSS as a file just like the HTML. I was going for speed to see if this was even going to work. So here's what it came back with. Making a looping logo carousel or an infinite ticker is a great project for a new developer. I had identified myself as a new developer in a previous prompt updating another feature. Since I mostly know HTML and CSS and I can recognize patterns in JavaScript, but that's the extent of my knowledge. It also picked up that we're working with Jekyll, which is part of Ruby on Rails. And we need to ensure that the code remains dynamic, so it automatically updates when you add new employers. It pulled out some app options here. It asked me to update the section for who hires our grads in the HTML. Then it gave me new CSS code. It walked through some of these concepts Now, for me, I wasn't trying to necessarily fully learn and understand what all of these were. I think as a developer, that would be very key to understanding what these things do. As a marketer, I was going for what works. All right, so I've dropped it in. I had a comment here, and that it's displaying with a grid with the logos, but it's repeating twice instead of a carousel. So now here we start to begin our battle with CSS. And of course, if you've ever had to work with raw CSS, you know how much of a hassle it can be. There can be a lot of back and forth, and you do one thing and it looks like version A, you do another thing, it looks like version B, you do a third thing and it looks like version A, and it just keeps going back and forth until you finally get it all cleaned up. So it can be quite a headache. And so AI has definitely helped me speed up with that and not having to comb through everything to find where there may be an error or figure out what to try next. So it gave me, again, fresh HTML, fresh CSS. Also tried to explain why it was still a grid. And then I asked again, had another question. I want to align the button in the center of the page. So we're making progress. And so I just continued to have a conversation with it. And then actually here's where I bounced to a different section of looking at the video player. In looking through the website, this is the original version of the employer section. And here's a new version. So obviously I've updated copy as well. It's actually moved on the page. And we now have a scrolling section of logos, which gives it a fresher, more dynamic feel. These logos are also something that you can click on to visit these companies' websites as well. A couple other things I just want to highlight and show you that I was able to use AI and just have similar conversations like I showed you to update and add new features to the website. I updated these graphics up top to make them more dynamic so that on desktop, they now have some motion when they are hovered over. They provide additional content. We've, of course, updated the copy as well. So that gives a nice little feature. On mobile, of course, you have to make sure you're accounting for both viewpoints. This will be static and the text will be visible on mobile automatically. The other section I was able to make big changes to was our video section. So we had a hero section here with thumbnail video players. And these, when you click on these, they do pop up into the main video player. But we actually wanted to take a little bit of a different approach. Rather than just kind of having a video section and an alumni section, we wanted to kind of combine those two pieces. So on our original homepage, we have the video section here, and then way down at the bottom, we have grads at work. And these have been here for a really long time, and it's definitely in need of a refresh. These are all fabulous graduates, but they graduated many years ago. So one of the areas where we are keeping content current is through our podcast. And so that made a lot of sense to try to bring those to the forefront to be able to tell current grad stories and to keep the community up to date with the exciting things our graduates are doing and employers and community members are contributing to NSS. So rather than having a hero video player, we have created two side-by-sides and created a scrollable carousel where you can scroll through and see all of the different podcasts that we are featuring. So making it look a lot more modern is adding a little bit of additional context for each of the videos. You can see who's on them versus the tiny little thumbnails, and making it hopefully much more engaging for people who are visiting our website. I'm really excited about these changes to our homepage. In addition to updating copy and making sure that we are tying into what is on top of everybody's mind and how it's impacting tech careers, which of course is AI, we have freshened it up and added some modern elements that give it a better look and feel. It is more dynamic. Hopefully it is more engaging to the visitors to our website. And of course, this wouldn't have been possible for us as a small organization a couple of years ago. We didn't have the capacity from our instructors to spend time creating new features like this. And AI was not at a place to be able to do things like this. And so the evolution of generative AI and being able to provide the code files and have a conversation to create the features that you're looking for. With the video project, there was lots of back and forth between myself and Gemini on exactly how I wanted it to look. Having conversations, desktop looks great. How do we adjust it for mobile so that it looks good on mobile as well? And lots of back and forth, little tweaks here and there, asking it to give me all of the CSS or all of the HTML when I wasn't sure where the section it would provide as an answer was supposed to go. So it was a very dynamic conversation in going back and forth to make sure that everything was looking how I wanted it to look. That's another episode of AI Tools for Marketing, and I will see you again soon.